Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
KBLA Talk 1580 and the Empowerment Congress, pursuing justice through participatory democracy. Listen to KBLA Talk 1580, Saturday morning, January 13th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for an exclusive forum featuring the candidates for LA County District Attorney. Join KBLA's Tavis Smiley as he helps navigate what promises to be a forum full of fire when the candidates trying to unseat current LADA George Gascon come together on stage on the campus of the Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science. Again, it's the LA County District Attorney Forum, live, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580, Saturday morning, January 13th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Helping to raise your civic IQ. We're KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss it. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
When someone says no to you in life, it doesn't mean you're wrong or you shouldn't do something. It just means they won't help you. When someone says no to you in life, it doesn't mean you're wrong or you shouldn't do something. It just means they won't help you.
Wait, play it again.
No to you in life. It doesn't mean you're wrong or you shouldn't do something. It just means they won't help you. When someone says no to you in life, it doesn't mean you're wrong or you shouldn't do something. It just means they won't help you.
Goodness gracious, Dr. Mark Goulston. Dropping jewels, man. We appreciate him, man. We appreciate him, man. Yo, you're listening to the VOR live from KBLA Talk 1580. If you don't know who Dr. Mark Goulston is, please go to Amazon.com and pull up some of his books. I mean, he had a lot of powerful books. His number one international best-selling author book is called Just Listen. Great book. Taught me a lot that I still have yet to master. Just Listen by Dr. Mark Goulston, his international best-selling book. Go get it. But I'm pulling from a book that is a little lesser known. It was still a big hit for Dr. Mark G, but it's called How to Get Out of Your Own Way. And it's a book talking about self-sabotage. And I'm just having a great time, like, going over some of the references, reading some of the insights that are coming out of it. And I believe that this book can really help relationships, in my opinion, right? Listen to this, right? Self-doubt often stems from past failures. This is what our guy Bowman was talking about, right? Negative experiences or external criticism. Addressing self-doubt involves challenging negative beliefs, reframing past experiences, and building self-confidence. Seeking therapy or coaching can provide us with the tools, right, and support needed to address the underlying causes of self-doubt and can help us develop a more positive self-perception. Very powerful work from my friend, Dr. Mark Goulston. We got callers on the line. Let's keep them rolling. Sean from Oakland, California, you were wrapping your final thought. Get back in here.
Well, hey, brother, that's a great point because even though I didn't make the major leagues, baseball, there's a couple of things. Number one, you got to be able to make adjustments. Number two, you cannot be affected by the outward chatter. And I'll tell you what, the funniest things were people when I was at the highest play, maybe 15,000 in the stands for college and stuff, and someone would know the girl I went out with the night before. This was literally when I was like 18 before I met my wife, and they would know the person's name, and they would be chatterboxing up in the stands about that, right? If you're not able to handle that, I'm not saying people should be able to handle it easily, but what I want you to think about is you've got to have this part of you that is easily to make adjustments and that you're not worried about all this outward chatter coming in and disrupting you. If it's negative, I just say, I disregard it. I got to get it out of there because I don't have time for that. I mean, life's too short. I've been married a long time, so I've been pretty good about doing that. You're going to have negative stuff happen. But one of the things you said earlier, Zoe, the power of no. It is okay to say no, and it's okay if someone tells you no. You just have to understand the power of it. It's a very powerful word. And, as long as you respect it and have empathy for others, that, other people, having a hard time or whatever, that word, can really hurt them. So you got to make sure you know the power of it and make sure that you respect it and have empathy for others and not to be worried about the outside chatter coming in. If you can possibly work on that, I think that's a really big thing you can work on.
I love it, Sean. Guess what you just did?
Oakland, brother. Love you.
Town business. If you want to bring your city, call me right now, 1-800-920-1580. Listen, Texas is all over the board, but what I want to know is, where is Los Angeles? Where is L.A.? Is this conversation too hoity-toity? Where is L.A.? I'd like to hear from my Los Angelinos. Come on, we the number 2 city in the world. Do you understand? The number 2 city. And we only number 2 by numerical value, right? They always want to say New York is number 1. But really, New Yorkers be trying to move out here to live here. You understand what I'm saying? We really number 1, right? Where are my Los Angelinos? Get to your phone line, 1-800-920-1580. Andy had something to say.
They at the Laker game right now.
They at the Laker game. Are the Lakers losing? Please find out so I can heckle. Anyway, the voice of reason. We're having a good time tonight, man, and we breaking down some heavy things. How do you get in your own way? How do you prevent yourself from achieving happiness in love? Are there any negative self-beliefs, any limiting beliefs, any negative behaviors that you engage in that prevent you from having the love you want to have? Where did they come from? Did they come from your childhood? We're interested to know. Attila, Texas, back on the board. Houston, Texas in the building. Attila, get in here.
Uncle Zoe, what's up? How are you?
Hey, I'm in here.
Yes, man. Texas loves you. We love you, period. Let me just say, though, so this topic is fire. How do I get in my own way? I am too open with those that I'm familiar with. And so I think what I'm learning in this particular phase of my life is that convenience it has to take a back seat to your purpose and to truth, into your authenticity, right? I think that for me, at least, I can't speak for everyone else, but for myself, we assume that the people closest to us or that we've grown up around are going to be the people that have our back. And it's just something that I think that you have to come to terms with. That's not always true. But I think even more important, the words and encouragement of others is important. But there's nothing like that inner voice that that you have. Inner leadership that you need to lean into.
But Attila, how do we cultivate that inner voice? And now, I want you to hear what I'm about to read to you. This is from Mark Goulston's Get Out of Your Own Way, Overcoming Self-Defeating Behavior. Someone someone who's coming from this space that I'm about to read, how do they develop that inner voice? I'm going to read it to you right now. People who were abused as children tend to get angry and strike out at the world. People who were neglected as children tend to feel defeated and withdraw from the world. People who were not given guidance tend to lack confidence and self-reliance. Each path leads to different forms of self-defeat. Mark Goulston, Get Out of Your Own Way, Overcoming Self. Now, do you understand? If you're coming from this space, how do you turn around and then develop this inner voice?
I mean, that's me all the way. You pretty much just read my life in about 4 lines. I'm still trying to figure that out, to be quite honest with you, but I can only share with you what I've learned from at this point. And I think that is that essentially, like, I can't beat myself up. If I have, these inner demons or these, past wounds, those are my enemies enough. I can't also be my own enemy. Like, that just doesn't work. And so I think for me, you have to transmute that, right? The very things that are your wounds are actually your tools. Those are your weapons.
Ooh, the wounds are your tools.
Yeah. I mean, it's the very thing that was meant to be used to defeat me is the thing that I needed to use to defeat the war within myself. If I have a wound that says that I am not worthy, I have to take that and essentially encourage others when I see it within them once I've overcome it. That's the only thing that I could do. Like, that's part of the reason why I think the Most High wanted me to go into teaching. I needed to essentially say, okay, this is something that I've had to deal with. You see it in other people. Through encouraging them, through speaking to them, you are talking to yourself. So if I understand that I'm looking at a mirror of myself, the very thing that I encourage them to do is the thing that if I can encourage them, then I can do it myself, right? I also can do that same thing. And within that, you create a community, which also strengthens you. But I think the biggest thing is just do not go back to the same things that hurt you, or at least understand that if you're going to go back, then you go back as someone who can transmute those wounds and those pains. Don't go back as someone who's going to lean into those same toxicities.
Let me ask you, how do you love your inner wounds? How can you love them? Can you talk to me about that?
See, because when you say how can you love them, that makes me feel like I need to be doing something. I mean, I feel like when I love, I'm just being. It's like this thing that's just kind of emanating from me, right? Because I recognize that, again, the wound is not my enemy.
So can you be love in the presence of your wounds?
I believe so. I believe it is completely possible. But the first thing that I had to do was forgive. And I'm still in the process of doing that, forgiving the people or the situations that I felt caused it. So once I release that, then I'm like, okay, well, I'm not holding on to this anymore. You know what I mean? It's like just by doing that to me has helped me transmute the situation.
So wouldn't a part of that process be being able to acknowledge and accept the wounded inner child?
Yes. You have no idea. You have no idea. You can only run from that small part of yourself for so long, because I feel like, when you're thinking about people who maybe reach out for connection or reach out for attention or whatever the case may be, like, that child is going to cry out. You have to address that. Like, you have to nurse that. So if you didn't get nurturing, nurture yourself. If you didn't get, and it sounds cliche, but I think we have to lean into the things, the people, the situations, the self that is giving us the healing that we need, instead of leaning back into the old habits, right? And so, for to give you like a more tangible example, what that looks like for me is essentially like monitoring my thoughts, right? and being surrounded by people who are also going to help me monitor. So it's like, hey, man, you're sounding a little iffy, a little dowdy right there. What's going on? Like, what's happening? So being able to kind of talk through and unpack a lot of that stuff helps as well.
So I got more.
Mm-hmm.
How can one learn how to embrace, and I mean like embrace like a hug and clasp their wounds? How do you hug the wounds? How do you embrace the wounds? How do you bring the wounds into your consciousness, not only as a part of you, but part of the family of you? Does that make sense?
Well, it's always a part of you. I mean, like, to me, like, if I try to say that my wounds are not a part of me or essentially divorce my wounds, like, there is no legal paperwork for divorcing your wounds. It always is a part of you. So I think, if anything, you have to change your perspective in the same way that you would have to do with your partner, right? Like, if my perspective is that it is you are against me rather than you are a part of me, then I'm always going to have some sort of dissonance with you, versus me seeing it as this is a part of me and this is something that has helped shape me for the better.
Do you
like
think,
I really, sorry?
You're just sparking so much. Do you think people approach their unhealed wounds with their head or with their heart?
I know I've definitely approached it with my head first. I don't know if it's a Taurian thing. I don't know what it is, but my first thing is like, okay, logically, how do I defeat this? And again, like, it's like love. Again, it's not a doing thing. It is not something that you check off of a checklist. The minute you think you are done with that assignment, the Most High will bring it right back to you and be like, nah,
wait,
you are not going to finish it.
Wait, stay with me, Attila. Stay with me. Lord have mercy. Can you defeat a wound when we come forward?
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580. So, what are you doing this Friday morning? How about you come join the KBLA delegation as we make a historic announcement and unveil our climate justice campaign for 2024. We'll be assembled for this major press conference along with LA Mayor Karen Bass, Ben Jealous, Executive Director of the Sierra Club, and a host of other public and private leaders who are joining us on this journey to justice, climate justice. We can't think of a better way to kick off the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend, linking social justice and climate justice. So, come join us this Friday morning at 10:30 a.m. at the beautiful MLK Memorial Tree Grove at the top of Kenneth Hahn Park off La Cienega. Once again, that's this Friday morning, January 12th at 10:30 a.m. as we take on the task of elevating the climate conversation by amplifying the voices of those who are most impacted by the climate catastrophes we are all witnessing in real time. KBLA delegation, we hope to see you this Friday morning at KBLA Talk 1580. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king.
The first time I tried to quit vaping, I told myself that it was like a mountain that I had to climb over. And once I got to the other side, it would be clear. But I couldn't make it over. What really got me to quit was my little sister. I saw her vaping. So I was back in the mountain, but this time, she was up there with me. It's weird what you can do for others that you won't do for yourself.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA Can believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sabotage by who? Red Hot Beastie Boys? Let's get to this clip, man.
It's called the persuasion cycle. And what that means is when you're with someone, you want to move them from resistant to doing, resistant to you, to listening to you, to considering what you have to say, to being willing to do what you've talked about. They're doing it, and then being glad that they did it. And if they're glad they did it, they'll tell other people. Does that make sense? And so the whole book is about how do you move people through that cycle. What do you think is the posture, if people were being honest, when someone is resistant to listening and resistant to you, in your mind's eye, what's their posture?
Hands crossed.
Hands crossed. Where are they looking?
Around.
Around, up at the ceiling.
If they've done that whole expression.
Yeah, like this. Oh, I'm really engaged. Okay, so here's the interesting thing. There's an old song when I was growing up, the hip bone's connected to the thigh bone, blah, 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 blah. Well, the way people's outward posture is connected to their inner mind's eye. So when someone is resistant, if in the conversation you can get them to use their hands because their words don't say enough, they will open their arms in their mind. So what that means is when you're networking with someone or you're meeting someone, try and think of any of the words they've used that are either have hyperbole, like never, always, awful. So try and think of those words that they've said, or if the inflection of their voice goes up and they just talk more adamantly and they may not use hyperbolic words, but they have more, or they're using hand gestures. Often those people are expecting you to get into a competitive talking to them, right? And so what you do is you pause just for a little bit, because they're going to be what they're really wondering is, did they make an idiot out of themselves? And
Dr. Mark Goulston dropping jewels. Can you imagine if you applied some of those techniques in your relationship? Heavy stuff. How to get out of your own way is our topic tonight. A simple tribute to a friend of mine, Dr. Mark Goulston, who passed on December 30th of 2023. Again, he was a co-host on many of my podcasts and, just a great all-around guy. And I wanted to acknowledge him tonight by doing a show that was predicated on a book that he wrote called How to Get Out of Your Own Way. And it's a book about self-sabotage. We have Atala from Houston, Texas. Let's get her back in here to answer that question that I left her with. What are your thoughts on that question?
Can you pose the question one more time?
Well,
one more time. I was in the chat.
You just posted it in the chat.
I did? I posted it in the chat? Hold on now. What did I post?
You said you can't divorce your wounds.
Yes, you cannot. Yeah, no, you can't. I'm sorry. You can't. You cannot divorce your wounds because your wounds are part of you. That's like trying to how could I say this? It to me, it's like it's equated to someone trying to, I don't know, cut off their hand for the sake of, I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning would be. Perhaps we don't need a reason. But it doesn't make any sense to cut off a perfectly good hand if there's nothing wrong with it, right? Mm-hmm. In the same way, it doesn't make sense to divorce yourself from your wounds when that's the thing that's going to help you through your issues, right? Like, I was just in the chat and Bowman was talking about unconditional love, right?
Wait, you saying something too heavy right now. Are you saying your wounds can be a part of or integrated into your successes?
Absolutely. I'll tell you what. Let me tell you. When we talk about resistance, the very things that I've been resisting in my life are the very things that have helped me get through or really ascend to the next level. So to give you an example, in 5th grade, hated math. Ended up in advanced classes because of math the next year. You can't make that up. You cannot make that up. The very things in my life that I have resisted, right? Resistance does not exist when you are a non-resistant person. Ooh. But most people are resistant and fearful. And that's not from me. That's from Francis Scoville, The Game of Life. Mm-hmm. You cannot be a resistant person and be surprised when someone rejects you. It just doesn't make any sense. You're inviting that into your life. So, and I'm saying this as someone who, rejection is a daily part of my life, being in business and education and things like that. So I guess the main takeaway from all of this, right, for me, how am I going to get out of my own way? The only thing I can do is just become non-resistant. And so for me right now, my challenge is rejection. If I face that, then I can face anything.
Absolutely. Carl Jung, what we resist persists. Resistance is related to resentment. Resentment comes from rejection.
Yes. And, another thing, I'll just say this real quick. I think we have so many things that lie below the surface. It's just below the surface. A lot of things that are unconscious. We like to say subconscious, but really it's unconscious because you don't know. Mm-hmm. So if you make your unconscious thoughts conscious, then you can work on it. But I think until then, we're operating blindly. Wow. So how do you get out of your own way? Become non-resistant.
I love it. Guess what you just did, Atala?
I brought Houston in the building.
H-Town is in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. When I come forward, another one of our favorite guests is in the building from the SIP. I'll let you guess who it is.
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser says D.C. needs to create a new vision for the future of the Chinatown neighborhood. The mayor, who was black, announced the formation of the Gallery Place Chinatown Task Force. The panel will be focused on ways to redevelop the area surrounding Capital One Arena and Gallery Place, which has become a high priority since Monumental Sports announced the pending move of the Capitals and the Wizards. Business owners have cited crime as a top reason they can't operate in the neighborhood. The mayor said the city plans to listen to businesses and put in place whatever is necessary to reduce crime and jumpstart development in the area. MoDOT has awarded the city of St. Louis a $60,000 grant for driver's ed classes. Mayor Tashara Jones says the funds will help kickstart city programs that will help young people learn how to safely use city streets. The mayor, who is black, also says the program will help lessen young drivers' chances of getting into an accident. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Can't wait weeks for your tax refund? Then don't. At Jackson Hewitt, get money today if you're approved for a no-fee refund advance loan on a prepaid card. Book today at jacksonhewitt.com. No-fee refund advance offered to eligible clients. Application required. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
So, what are you doing this Friday morning? How about you come join the KBLA delegation as we make a historic announcement and unveil our climate justice campaign for 2024. We'll be assembled for this major press conference along with LA Mayor Karen Bass, Ben Jealous, Executive Director of the Sierra Club, and a host of other public and private leaders who are joining us on this journey to justice, climate justice. We can't think of a better way to kick off the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend, linking social justice and climate justice. So, come join us this Friday morning at 10:30 a.m. at the beautiful MLK Memorial Tree Grove at the top of Kenneth Hahn Park off La Cienega. Once again, that's this Friday morning, January 12th at 10:30 a.m. as we take on the task of elevating the climate conversation by amplifying the voices of those who are most impacted by the climate catastrophes we are all witnessing in real time. KBLA delegation, we hope to see you this Friday morning at KBLA Talk 1580. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king.
There are many things to love about winter. Cozy sweaters, celebrations, and family time. But winter can also bring many stressors, extra expenses, seasonal bugs, and so much family time. If you and your loved ones are feeling stressed or anxious this winter, CalHope can help. Check out our free mental health resource at calhope.org today.
What's up? I'm Danelle Riley, FAMU alumni and creator of the HBCU Culture Shop. I am so proud of my new partnership with Black Beyond Measure and Target. They help me elevate community pride with my HBCU designs and continue to support Black creators and entrepreneurs with Target HBCU challenges, scholarship programs, and campus collaborations. Let's come together this homecoming season and beyond. Shop my brand and discover other Black-owned products at target.com/blackbeyondmeasure.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles is a nonprofit law firm that protects and advances the rights of the most underserved, leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone can have access to the justice system. Every year, LAFLA provides free, high-quality legal services to more than 100,000 people living in poverty across greater Los Angeles. Their unique combination of neighborhood offices, self-help centers at courthouses, and domestic violence clinics puts Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles on the front lines in vulnerable communities and at the forefront of change. LAFLA's expert team of attorneys, paralegals, and support staff works to provide direct representation, offer counsel and advice, provide referrals, and educate the community about their legal rights through workshops and seminars. With locations all over LA, you can access their services or volunteer to help no matter where you live. And if you have an urgent issue, call 213-235-0060. That's 213-235-0060. To get legal help, make a donation, or volunteer, visit lafla.org. lafla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Wendy's Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles lets you choose your perfect duo from your fave four, like a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee. Limited time only during breakfast hours. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in the combo. Single item at regular price.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions because we've got your Black. Listen up. If you're one of the more than 100,000 California tenants who were rejected or delayed when applying for COVID rental assistance, you've got a second chance. Under the terms of a new settlement, California's Housing and Community Development Department agreed to audit its past denials. The program ended in March 2022, but the advocacy groups, Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment, Policy
Starlink and Strategic Actions for a Just Economy sued the department. According to the coalition's analysis of state data, the department rejected nearly 30% of all applicants. Under the settlement, the department agreed to clear all renters in the pipeline within 6 months. The settlement applies to anyone who sought assistance from the state's Housing is Key program before April 1st, 2022, whose applications is pending or was denied after June 6, 2022. Tenants who have questions about the status of their application can call the hotline at 833-430-2122. That's 833-430-2122. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm calling you up. I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need a love doctor. And I need it right away. I'm calling you up. I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need to hear the doctor's voice of reason.
Yo, so I got this two-timing chick who got her revenge from when I was on my two-time tip. And even when I tried to correct it, she couldn't get past how she was disrespected, neglected my effort, a pair with no trust, dirty games and affairs that been tearing us up. If things ain't picture perfect, is it really worth it? I have an idea, but I need to know for certain.
I'm calling you up. I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need a love doctor. And I need it right away. I'm calling you up. I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need to hear the doctor's voice of reason.
Welcome to another episode of I'm Dying to Tell You. This is Dr. Mark Goulston, and I'm finally getting this show on the road. As many of you know, I've been facing a serious illness, and I'm about to undergo something called a bone marrow transplant. And I have reason to be very optimistic about it, although I'm told that there'll be quite an ordeal in front of me. And I wanted to talk to you all about how do you maintain perspective when you're going through something rough. Now, we've all heard this saying, this too shall pass. Easy to say the words, much more difficult to actually believe it when it's happening. I know there's been times in my life when I've had some other health conditions, namely a kidney stone, which I wouldn't wish on anyone. When you're in the middle of it, you don't think it's going to pass. You just want the world to take the pain away. And but something that's occurred to me, and I'm making use of this, is not just the fact that, yes, you and I have been through things that were difficult and they did pass. What goes down must come up. What goes up must come down. What's helped me, and this is what I'm going to try to hold on to, is that every time I have faced adversity in my life, setbacks, challenges, if I could get through them without making it worse, because sometimes just to get through these times, we make it worse. We do something impulsive, we do something hasty, we do something that's counterproductive or destructive just to get through it. And if I can refrain from doing that, what I'm going to experience, and I think this is true for you, is that on the other side of it, I'm going to be smarter, stronger, hopefully healthier, hopefully wiser. And I don't exactly know what that's going to look like, except it's always happened. In fact, if you think about times when you've had breakthroughs in your life, and when I've asked people about that, how often were they preceded by breakdowns? Most people say nearly always. It sometimes takes a breakdown to sort of reorganize everything in your mind, maybe reorganize everything in your life. And then if you can make it through it without making it worse, you'll discover that.
I don't know about you, man, but that's wisdom from the good brother, Dr. Mark Goulston. Again, we've been paying tribute to him all night, How to Get Out of Your Own Way. And that was from his final podcast, right? And I'm not saying the final episode, but his final podcast that he produced called I'm Dying to Tell You This. And it's surreal that he was actually dying while he was shooting those episodes. And like I said, when you watch those on YouTube, you'll see some of those episodes, he's in a hospital bed, right? He's literally going through the process, of dealing, with his particular type of lymphoma. Very courageous man, and I appreciate him for sharing everything that he shared with me. Now, without further ado, how to get out of your own way. We got to get this is our resident spiritualist. She's in the building straight from the SIP. Nikki from the SIP. Get in here.
Brother Doe, Sam.
Hey, how are you? We missed you yesterday, but what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Well, just some food for thought.
Here we go.
If we say get out of our own way, what resonates with me in that statement is to get out of the way would suggest an occurrence of getting each person, me, off of my intended route. If my intended route is to go to heaven, then these wounds that we carry, because I'm going to have those that live with me, that I carry, that exist, are in place to teach me, cause me to learn, sometimes stumble, halt, persist, but they move me off of my intended route just enough for me to learn the lesson. On the inside of my spirit self, it is aware of my wounds. You already know, as a Taurus, everything in me got to get along. Right. So even my wounds got to understand that, okay, nothing in me is going to beat me, okay? No. So my spirit self is aware that any one of these or some combination of these wounds I carry in the learning process, as they appear and they move me off my intended route or slow my progress toward that place, the purpose of me having them is so that I can learn, adjust, aware, do what the doc said, and hopefully with maturity, not make the circumstance where the wounds arise any worse. One must first acknowledge you have them. Two, I said this going into the holidays, you got to give yourself some grace with those wounds. I can't divorce them, but I can take them to therapy.
Oh, you can't divorce your wounds, but you can take them to therapy, is what she said.
I can take them to therapy. And my therapist is that third voice or that whisper you were talking about that says those negative words initially, because those are generally very loud. But when you recognize, understand they're there and take them to therapy, then you can turn that volume down or off. and get you back on your intended route.
I love it. Nikki, you know I love you, Nikki, right?
I love you all too.
Come
we
on,
all
Nikki.
trying to do what the doc said. And what's ironic about it, I don't know if anybody else picked up on this, him dying to tell us about it.
Oof.
We're all doing the same thing.
Doing the
because we're all
same
dying.
thing. Ooh, Lord. Oh, I love you, Nikki. Nikki, guess what you just did?
I brought the sip in the building. I love you back.
The sip is in the building, and we are loved all over the nation. Nikki always comes in here and cooks with rarefied grease. When we come forward, you know where we going. Denver, Colorado. Cali Soul. She's got a lot to speak about on this topic. Let's see.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chucha's opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chucha's Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Granddad, what's good?
Hey there, got us a quarter pounder with cheese and McNuggets.
Wow, haven't had our special McDonald's order in a minute.
Heard your little tic-tac-toe dance didn't get no likes.
Oh man, is Mom telling everybody?
You know she is.
There's a deal for every favorite grandson at McDonald's. Right now, get one favorite like a quarter pounder with cheese or 10-piece chicken McNuggets and get another for just $1. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
You know you want some more. More. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
ladies and gentlemen, the VOR. Andy tried to pull one of my favorite records out of the playlist. Jokum, Freddie Jokum is the artist. And I think that's Winding Road. Yeah, man, that's a great record, man. Great record, man. Woo! We on fire tonight. Let's get our caller in here. Our final caller of the night, I believe. Callie, Seoul, Denver, Colorado. Callie, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Well, first of all, I just want to say peace and clarity to your soul tonight as you go forward to do what you're going to do tomorrow. I know that Spirit will speak through you. Amen.
Thank you. Ashe. Thank you.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I'm a little late tonight, so I hope I'm still in the pocket with this.
Mm-hmm.
But from the moment we take our first breath, even to be invited to take our first breath on this earth, we are trained and programmed to pain, which is why a lot of mothers now, they won't let you smack their baby on the butt no more to invite that first breath. And that cycle starts then and it continues. In elementary school, you're on a point system and all this stuff, and you think that you have to perform to receive love. So a lot of people can't grasp the concept of unconditional love, which my definition of unconditional love is the ability to exercise forgiveness, even in a moment when someone is projecting a mask that they project and protect. And I'm not up on Dr. Mark Goldstein, but I remember something that stuck out very vividly in my head with the 5 love languages. And they said when you first start trying to train someone to receive a different love language that they're not used to receiving, you have to be patient enough for them to reject it a few times, maybe even for years, but you've got to still keep communicating to them in that language, i.e., I've had people in my life where I've learned to give them physical affection and touch. And I've had some people say, whoa, why do you touch me like that? I feel different. What is that? And I just tell them, don't worry about it. Push through it. Does it feel good? And it's not nothing sexual. We're talking about a pat on the back. I remember when my grandmother had made her transition, and I got some hard street family members. And I remember one of my family members, I was visiting with them, and we were talking about my grandmother, and I could just see that he was pinned up and he was frustrated and angry even. So I walked over to him and I put my hand on his shoulder, and he immediately started what we call in the spiritual world letting. He let tears out. He let emotion out. He said, thank you for just giving me that comfort, because that's what I needed. And oftentimes we get in our own way because we don't understand what love is, and we'll reject it and become very oppositional. So in light of getting out of our own way, when that little voice, your ego, Iblis, the devil, whatever you want to call your lower self, gets to talking and stirring up and say, you don't deserve that. This person isn't right for you, or this situation isn't right for you. You're never going to be able to accomplish this goal. Yeah, you had this great idea. You can't do that. Who do you think you are? That's when you have to continue pushing forward to get out of your own way and say, no, I deserve this. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of all the good things that the universe has for me. I'm worthy of this person in front of me extending love to me. And it won't be easy because, again, Iblis, the devil, your ego, going to continue to sit there on your shoulder until you hush it up and push through to the truth, which is we are all deserving of love, growth, peace, joy, abundance, every good thing. that's what we deserve.
Lord, 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 Lord. Cali Soul from Denver, up in here cooking. What did you just do, sweetheart?
God bless you. I brought Denver in the building.
Denver is in the building. We appreciate that heat. Gosh. Man, I love the spirit of the sisters that be calling into this show. Cali came in here and took off from the free throw line, quoting from the Quran. Iblis, right? Iblis, right? It means in Arabic, the rebellious one. Woo! Sometimes our resistance to what's good for us, even if it doesn't feel good, causes us to become a type of Iblis. We want to resist what actually could elevate our consciousness. And let me tell you something. God has an amazing sense of humor. It ain't always supposed to feel good. Dr. G, I'm dying to tell you this, was his final podcast. Let me tell you something. Don't you know you're supposed to die to something every day? So when you get that final death, you not surprised? Huh? Don't you know you're supposed to die to something every day? See, most of us know how to kill their relationship. We know how to kill a relationship, but we don't know how to make the relationship into Lazarus. We don't know how to resurrect a relationship. This is why relationships run out of gas. They run out of steam because most of us don't understand the Lazarus effect on relationships. We don't understand that every relationship has a phoenix on the inside of it that is supposed to be reborn out of the ashes of what was burnt, right? You're supposed to burn wounds through love. Through empathy. Through self-empathy, through self-care, through self-acceptance. You're supposed to burn those wounds up, just like you burn your desires up. See, you can rebirth a relationship if you wanted to. But many of us are locked into novelty. We think another person has a different question for the answer we carry in our spirit. I'm here to tell you, until you resolve the wound issue, it's going to be the same question regardless of who the new cast member is. Dr. G said it a different way. He said avoidance is no solution. In an attempt to change a self-defeating pattern within a relationship, some people decide to avoid trouble by keeping their feelings to themselves. Staying angry and living with the pain seems to be a better choice than having another argument. The problem is, if you do not heal with hurt and disappointment quickly enough, those feelings harden into resentment, anger, and hate. They fester inside and eventually turn into physical symptoms and/or emotional powder kegs. In the long run, it's much less self-defeating to acknowledge the problem early on and deal with it effectively with compassion, respect, and empathy. Mark Goulston, get out of your own way. Overcoming self-defeating behavior. That's a quote from that book. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. We start the conversations. You finish it. You know the fire's going to continue. Up next, our friend, your friend, our girl, your girl, Jill Monroe, RSVP with Jill Monroe. I'll holler at you tomorrow.